We're now going to create a nice segmented effect. And what we're doing is we're just using this background I created called segments.jpg, or use your own background. And we're just going to grab the type tool here, and I'm choosing orange as the color, and I'm choosing impact as the font. It's a pretty common font, and we'll make it pretty big. Let's make it 72, and we'll just click and we'll type in the word segmented. And we'll just click to apply. Now we may want to increase the size of this font. Why don't we do that? Just hitting Control T, that'll be Command T on the Mac. For free transform, grab one of the corners and hold Shift, and then we'll just increase the size of it. Let's position it right here just for now. Or how about there? Okay, we'll position it there. Not that it really matters too much. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a duplicate. So we've got two layers now. Going to hide the top layer. We'll work with that one later, and we're going to work on the bottom layer. What we want to do with this layer is we want to give it a nice metallic bevel kind of a feel. So we're going to go to the layer styles here, and we're going to choose bevel and emboss. Let's increase the depth a little bit. And we'll also increase the size, but not too much. And we'll choose the soften option just to kind of round it a little bit. There we go. Let's increase the size a little. And we'll push the depth up higher. So what we're trying to do is give it a nice kind of a rounded effect, but the size needs to go down. There we go. I don't like these sizes when they're set too high because they tend to look very artificial where the areas just kind of blend out. So what we're going to do now is we're going to change the gloss contour. We could look through some of the different options here just by clicking on them and trying them. That's kind of an intriguing effect right there. We'll remember that one, and we'll keep going. That's kind of nice. There's our chromie effect. I think I actually like the one that we tried here. I kind of like that one. What we want to do though is we want to change the angle just a little bit, so we can just click and drag around with this and we can see how it affects the type there. And I kind of like the angle there. That looks pretty good. So we're going to click OK to apply it. And there we go. We've got our basic effect here. Now what we want to do now is we want to put the coating on it that we're going to cut away, that we're going to segment. So let's choose the top layer, and now we're going to choose the layer styles again. This time we're going to select the color overlay, and we're going to give it a dull gray look. And we'll click OK, and we're going to go back to the bevel and emboss again. What we're trying to do is create kind of like a gray, kind of a rubbery surface that would go on the top of it. We may even want to darken that down a little bit. Let's make it a little bit darker. There we go. And we'll experiment here with our settings. We'll increase our depth just a little, not too much. We'll turn our soften on and experiment with the size. That's actually looking pretty good right there. We'll click OK. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to eat away at the rubber coating here, and that's going to reveal the metallic-y looking text underneath. But before we do that, there's one other thing we need to do. We want to rasterize this type, so we're going to right click on it on the top layer and choose rasterize type. Now we can make a selection. Holding down the control key, or that would be the command key on the Mac, just click on the layer thumbnail. And notice we now have a selection. You can see these marching ants around there. What we want to do is we want to increase the size by 1 pixel. So what we're going to do is go up to the select menu, then we're going to choose modify, and you'll see an option here which is expand. So we'll click on expand and choose 1 pixel. And click OK. So what we've done is we've actually expanded this selection by a pixel. Now we need to refill this. And when we refill it, this layer style is just automatically going to apply to the new pixels. So we can just fill it with the foreground color. It doesn't really matter what color we're using because notice we've got the color overlay, so it's still going to be gray. So if we choose the Alt key or the Option key on Mac and then hit backspace, and that would be delete on Mac, we've filled it and we can turn off our selection. So notice now we have our top layer is a little bit bigger than the bottom layer. So now all we want to do is just make selections and begin to eat away at our shape. So let's make a circle around here. And if I hold down the spacebar, I can move this circle around. So let's start at the bottom. And I'm going to hit the delete key. That would be backspace on Windows. And I can click this circle now, and notice with the selection tool active, I can drag this circle around. So why don't we bring it over here? We can just keep hitting the delete key and experimenting, eating away at our type. And you're seeing what it's doing here is it's revealing the area underneath, which is just a little bit smaller, and it gives it the impression that there's a plastic or a rubber wrap on the top that is segmented over the top of it. Let's continue to do this. We'll do it at the top of the T here. You can see this is a really neat effect. It's very unusual, and it's quite effective. Let's do one just in a very corner there. And we can deselect. And you can see how we've got this really neat little segmented effect. If we wanted to do something else, we could cut an entire line out of this just by making a slight selection there and then hitting delete. Notice how we can actually cut an entire strip out of it. We could do another one underneath if we wanted. See how it begins to just segment that up. But I'm not so sure I like that, so we'll just undo that. Let's just put that back how it was. So finally, why don't we add a little bit of a drop shadow? So we could just do this with the segmented type under here. We could just choose a drop shadow effect here. And let's increase the distance a little bit and the size just to soften it up. Click OK. And there we go, there's our segmented type effect.